Put down your weapon. You have 10 seconds to comply. 10, 9, 8.
What's up? I'm back. I'm back for the attack of drawing on my iPad before I go to sleep. What's up, Ricker Shades Vega? Good evening. Man, watching those animations makes me want to animate again. I think the animation bug is coming back. It's a good thing. Oh yeah, I've been doing some drawing during the day. I colored Algath. Looks pretty golden, eh? Let's see. Oops. Oops. I read your comment and I was like, how'd you know I colored it? Oh, it's on my screen. I guess I can use these for my warm up. Oh. Forgot about the music. Yeah, I think Algath will like it. It's part of the trying to do the whole key art thing for my mobile game. He's in the second zone. It'd be kind of cool to do little simple little promos when you unlock a character, certain characters, not all of them. Maybe see some art, animation of them. Copyright music, copyright free music. Ow, it's loud. It's loud. Let's see if different color background works. I know we always start off. I always start off with a suggestion on what we could draw. Whether we do that or not is never for sure, but I was thinking maybe do some mechs or robots of some sort tonight. Maybe that's better than a white background. Thank you, Vega. Oh, is it a limited release? I didn't know that. Original mechs or mainstream? Well, can use other mechs as inspiration, but I tend to always make things my own way. So whether I want to or not, it's always gonna be a made up mech because I'm terrible at copying things, at least one for one. It always veers off. First thing that popped in my head were the most non-looking mechs ever. Or they're not even really mechs. I guess you could. They're more like I don't know, like beings or monsters. Evangelion. I don't think they count as mechs. Yeah, I want to go robotic. Evangelion would just be me drawing the way I normally draw. There's no risk in that. Oh, just draw how I normally draw, but now we're gonna call it a mech. No. I need to make a mechanical looking mech. Oh, I give his eyes shadows, but I don't think that works. I think it looks better when his eyes are just shining lights. Just glowing. Where is that? There it is. It's looking very Capcom. I love it. Getting back to my Capcom inspiration. 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 I feel like there needs to be more of this color somewhere else. I only have it in these two places. That doesn't seem very balanced. Falling into my iteration trap. No, this is warming up. I'm allowed to do this. This is warming up. Akumi versus Mech. Angels. Yeah, the Angels. Warhammer Dreadnought, but Akumi verse. Oh yeah, maybe the skin on the ship in Akumi Wars. How about something like Big O or Tengen Toppa? Maybe a mech like Tron. I'll have to look some of that up. What's up, Zaya? And don't forget about the Druid Crab. We'll wait for a Druid to hop on to explain exactly what that was. All I remember is like a ghost crab, which means a normal crab, but then I call it a ghost or color it green. Crabs are cool though. I like drawing crabs. Maybe we do a mech crab. Turn a crab into a mech. We're all about mashups here. It's my favorite thing to do, it seems. You know, samurai armor was... The design of samurai armor was inspired by crabs. Crab armor. True story. That's why they look like crabs. The helmets and all that. I had a book once that explained all that about samurai, where their armor inspiration came from. And I was like, that totally makes sense. They looked at crabs. A creature with a natural armor. And based their designs on it. Someone had a suggestion for a Batgirl, like literally a Batgirl. 3 phases. One, she's hanging upside down with her eyes closed. And then 2, her eyes are open. And then 3, wings spread open. Shit. Well, that would mean it has to be maybe I just make the I think this is going to be one of my new characters. I like the idea. Three, the wings are open. She's wearing a bikini. Because of course. If you're on my Patreon, this is obvious. Lost the cuteness though. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Cannot lose the cuteness. Could turn this into an animation. One, two, three. Can you do a tutorial of how you draw a demon face? I can draw a demon face. I don't know. I could try to explain what I'm doing, but I don't really think about it too much. Yeah, we can do that. Oh, Gav, for the looking nice. Thank you, Marcel. Hey, what's going on, Marcel? Oh, you know what it needs? It needs a lens flare. How in the hell did I forget the lens flare? I'm so happy that lens flares became a trope for Photoshop users for a while. So hardly anyone ever uses them anymore. So now that gives me free reign. I use them. I have no shame. I have no shame. Have you seen the things I've done? This needs to be... There we are. I'm gonna make them gleam. Shiny. Mecha Sonic. That'd be interesting. Oh yeah, I kind of like those those Sonic the Hedgehog robots. They look pretty cool. Algafida and AQW is a bonus package, though it was a rare armor. I'm gonna buy it now. The crab something. Someone's suggestion yesterday. That's 2 suggestions for crab, but true, has got some good supporters. So we'll do a crab something, crab mech maybe. Phase 1, tiny bat. Phase 2, tiny bat lady. Phase 3, fully tall, sexy bat. That works. One thing I think about that's pretty cool is how Akumi's sword takes cartridges. I don't think that's been explored much. Do the different cartridges do different things? Does it still take cartridges? Yeah, I like the idea that her weapon can be powered. She's got different swords. Some of her swords could be magical. Sanguine bats. That bat is getting ready for Halloween. Yeah, it's very Halloween. Yeah, the lore on her weaponry always interested me. I do wonder if her sword is a standard spun patrol firearm or something she custom to handle the cartridge she has. I don't recall if the cartridges are seen anywhere other than the fight with the Grubby, though. Is it on the original? No, it's only in the Grubby one. The leg part on Alga is kind of missing. I think the calves. Yeah, it looks like I accidentally deleted some of the ink or line work. Sometimes I'll see a mistake. Like I saw this missing part of the line, and then I go, does it bother me that much? And if the answer is no, I just leave it. Sometimes it looks like it's on purpose. Part of that sketchiness. Part of that sketchy look. So here I think we've gone too far with all the lens flares. Now you gotta pull it back a little bit. Went too far. Now the eye doesn't know where to rest. Okay. I did a little more on Akumi here. Her face still looks red, at least on this monitor. like overly red. Why? Are these the same color? Yeah, they're all the same color. It's so strange. Maybe because her face is near this scarf? So strange. I think it's just my monitor. What's up, Hangro? I think, yeah, I'm gonna do some, warm up. Let's try something different. I always like exaggerated teeth. Giving I'm gonna give this Batgirl Stitch from Lilo and Stitch teeth. It's pretty scary, actually. Whenever you add the small pupil, that's when you get the this the creepy look. We've lost the cuteness though. I don't know how to make this look cute. Glorious Algav. Her face looks to be around more cool colored objects like her hair, her gun, her body, while her legs are next to each other. They're surrounded by black. Maybe it's the trick of the eye. Yeah, I think you might be right there. It's the combination of the black background and the different colors. I think it's looking better. And I think because her outline is so thin, I relied too much on the background to fill in everything. It's kind of a trip looking at another monitor to draw. Kind of works though. It really does mimic the flipping of the canvas, not letting your eye get used to seeing it a certain way, so that you can see where things might be going wrong. Still need to flip it though. Does not negate the need to flip it. Really love those fiendish eyes, like something is coming out of them. I don't know why, but that open mouth, fat face looks like something you've seen Zelda. You've seen in Zelda? Oh, the video game, you mean? I thought you were talking about the character Zelda. There's probably a character in Zelda that looked like this. You know, I'm gonna try something weird. I'm gonna make her eyes super wide apart and looking, looking outward. Ah, she looks like an animal. Completely lost the cuteness. I don't know. Do you still have artwork and sketches from Oversoul days? I probably do somewhere. I'd have to go looking though. My first tablet, you couldn't see anything on the tablet. You had to draw on the tablet, but look at the monitor. It felt weird for a while, but then you got used to it. Yeah, I used to use a tablet. That is what it's kind of like when I'm drawing on my iPad. Even though I can see the drawing on my iPad, obviously, when I'm looking at a second monitor of it, it just looks different. Which is a trip because I'm sitting here looking at it directly and it looks one way. But then I look at it on the second monitor and it looks like something different. It's like it's the same drawing, but I'm just seeing different things. So I'm basically making my own pseudo tablet. Give her some cleavage. I guess she's wearing one of those designer onesies. I'm gonna look up some tutorials later on how to animate again in Procreate. That could be fun. Just do some simple animations, eye blinks, and things like that. Nothing too crazy. Maybe make the eye rounder to get a cuteness back. Yeah, rounder eyes usually does the trick. I'm gonna try that gorilla's round eye, which I love. He needs to be bigger. We lost too much of the cartooniness somewhere along the way. Oh, what's up, a Druid? I was just thinking about suggestions that a few days ago you animating in Procreate, but then I thought it would be too much effort. Procreate Dreams is nice, but has no features for drawing. Yeah, I was really disappointed by that. I thought it would just be like Procreate, but with better animation tools. But the drawing tools aren't as good in Dreams, so it's harder. It's true, it doesn't even remember. He's like, what you guys talking about? we'll just go ahead and make we'll make a mech crab. I think a crab would make an amazing mech. We're all about mashups here on the drawing stream. Crab mech. Mecha. I need to look up crabs. Oh, you know, the the old anime Robotech. I just realized how obvious that the villain mechs were completely inspired by crabs. I'm gonna give it a gun so it's more obvious that it's a mech, a gun arm. actually gonna make that the face. This looks kind of like a head, a little head. I kind of like that. We're losing our crab. But he was inspired by a crab. So it still counts. It's looking a little organic. We need to add mechanical looking things to it. Maybe it's a cockpit. I don't like this Gatling gun. Looking more like a robot than a mech. Still trying to find our mech. I tend to make everything more organic, so it's not helping me. But I'm trying to turn a crab into a mech. Oh shit. The seas are full of aliens. A ghost in a shell. I think everybody likes a little head on a monster. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. We'll draw something next to it for a sense of scale. I want to finish the overall design of it though. I think part of the problem is it's still looking a bit too real world for my liking. It's like, where's the fun? Where's the exaggeration? It's not here yet. That's usually the course that happens naturally though. When I've never drawn something before, it starts off stiff and generic. Takes a while before I start finding what it is I'm looking for. Before it clicks. I like doing the little carving technique. Silhouette carving. I think it helps with my dyslexia. Instead of drawing lines, I'm still drawing lines, but from the opposite way. Hey, it does look like a crab. Just doesn't look like a mech yet. I just glanced at it on the second monitor. I'm like, oh, there it is. It looks kind of a retro, like something from the 50s. Like if this was a mech from the 50s. They do look like bodybuilders. Yeah, trying to do the paneling here on the legs right now. Just need to take some time. Everything I do, it just looks like kind of like a rust bucket robot. I may have to just concede to the kind of goofy, quirky little crab here. It's what it wants to be. I need something on this that makes it stand out. Hey, thanks, Mason. Trying to make a crab mech isn't working out so well. I think it looks more like a crab knight. I don't think skinny legs helps with the mech aesthetic. Every time I think of a mech, I think of a hulking gorilla. S type thing. But with a crab, we're kind of doing a spider insect looking thing. It can't help but look alien. Eh. I'm gonna stop fighting it. I'm gonna let it be what it wants to be. It's a robot crab. Good enough. Close enough. It's a mechanical crab. Alright. Let's expand off of that. It's a drone crab. Droid crab. How about a saw arm? That could work. Or robot. Looks like a crab UFO or robot. Yeah, it looks more like a robot. You got this, but I gotta go. But very cool concept. Nice to see a fellow artist. Thank you, Mason. Secret weapon throws balls from its body, and balls scan the area, and boom. I always like when technology involves balls. Mechanical balls. If you're looking for inspiration, Gundam Wing had a crab neck called Cancer that was under the sea giant robot. Let me take a look. Gundam Wing Crab Net. Huh. Interesting. It's droid crab menacing. It looks like something that will hunt down strong opponents. It does look pretty vicious. This reminds me of the pet from Epic Duel, that pet with diamond eggs. I think we just give it like a non-crab second arm. Something mechanical. I think his saw is a little too familiar. Bzzz. I never liked it when things are so big. It's almost inconceivable how they would. Well, it's more about the design. But like, if this was a crab mech with a saw arm, for instance, and then the scale was. This is a Jeep. To me, that would be silly. I would be like, why? Why would you need a crab mech that big or a saw that big? To me, it's like, are you like the only reason you'd need a crab mech with a saw that big is if you're cutting planets in half. It's like, do you need to cut planets in half? Like, in my opinion, for example, the dragons in Dragon Fable, the size of the dragons in Dragon Fable were too big. It's like, what do they eat? Wouldn't they have to eat like 500 cows a day? How sustainable is that? Although I did hear some scientific evidence about giants, and that, like, if there were giant animals in real life, they wouldn't need to consume as much food as we think. I forget, they explained why. I don't remember what the reason is, though. But you'd think they would need enormous amounts of food to be able to maintain such a large body. But at least in this this video I was watching, or this science video, they said that wasn't necessarily true. So maybe gigantic things could exist. They wouldn't need to eat 500 cows a day. Or you could always say it's magic. They're magical beasts. They don't need to eat as much. That's acceptable. Yeah, it's a big boy. This is ridiculously big. That's another good explanation. Only a madman would engineer something so ridiculous. That's a good excuse. Mad scientist, mad genius. Makes a giant crab mech. Look at that. My doubts have been vanquished. There's many reasons why something like this would exist. Maybe there are giant kaiju. We don't know. It needs to be this big to take on giant, ancient creatures that have awoken in the middle of the earth. God damn it. Let's make it a truck. Let's make it a truck. I want to draw a truck. One of those decent or little box head trucks. I drew it crooked. Ah, the Jeep looked better. And drawing vehicles takes so much of my mental resource because I'm not used to it. Even this small, even at this scale, it's hard. That looks like a cartoon truck. I like that. Is Akumi gonna be sticking out of the Jeep? Not very much real estate here to draw little figures. Making me want to draw another vehicle full size. I don't think we have enough time for that though. Akumi verse seems to be ripe with villains. Yo mama joke. Remember the giant crab on Google Maps? I mean Google Earth? I don't remember that. Goliath was a giant human during the era of King David. It would be surprising if around the Stone Age humans were like between 10 to 30 feet tall. Yeah, I heard the stories about giants. It's pretty interesting. Pull out your slingshot. Or the Kandara giant from Afghanistan. Clash between that and the dinos that's chasing Akumi. Humans that tall would have a bunch of heart problems, circulation problems, gigantism. With beings like us is kind of hard with our circulatory system and bone structure. The square cube law is vicious. Exoskeletal beings like insects, on the other hand, they can get huge. Yeah, I watched something about the probabilities or the science between having a giant body and how imbalanced it is in terms of weight and gravity and all that stuff. But there are myths about, or many tales about giants. And I think if giants did exist, they wouldn't be they would actually be giants, not humans with gigantism. But who knows? there are lots of giant beasts in the dinosaur age. So things could get pretty big. I heard the reason why animals got so big during the dinosaurs was that there was such an abundance of oxygen and food, I guess. So all the animals like just grew enormous. You wanted me to do a tutorial on drawing a demon face. We'll do that next. I'll just draw a demon face and just explain what I'm thinking. Which idea to the two do y'all vibe with, Milton and Peeps? I suggested earlier. From the target I had, I'll be right back since I'm getting major munchies. Giants are in the Bible too. Yeah, they're mentioned in every culture, I think. The idea of giants, just like dragons, just like Bigfoot. There's versions of them like in every culture. The Nephilim, it is vegetation and oxygen could be key. Okay, I say could would definitely be the reason they manage. Don't get me started on biblical topics because I could rant for hours on that. But Nephilims likely weren't originally giants, but instead past heroes like Gilgamesh. Everyone's got some crazy thoughts about the Bible. I started watching this one dude, I think I mentioned it in one of my other streams, who basically thinks Satan was actually the good guy, and everyone got convinced that he was the bad guy. And he goes through all of the Bibles and the stories and talking points as to why, bringing up all the vengeful God personalities as part of the proof. It's like, what kind of God has jealousy and rage and anger and all that type of stuff? Insecurities. I don't know about any of that. I just believe we exist and we always will exist. And continue to evolve and continue to become more. Just because the idea of meaning, the idea of morality, the idea of why is a human invention. I think it's something that we made up that actually doesn't need, there doesn't need to be meaning about event for anything. It just is. But we create the meaning. That's our invention. This thing is ridiculous. It's too big. This crab is too dang big. Let me make the crab just for funsies the size that I would deem acceptable. Because a crab this size, I don't think would exist in the Akumi verse. It would have to be instead. Let's see how big it would have to be. That's an acceptable size. I can deal with a crab. I can deal with the crab being this big. Still big. It's still big. There are some early Christian texts that do share that sentiment, mostly agnostic texts. Yeah, that's what this guy, he reads all of the books. I forget one of the... What is the part of the Bible that was banned? That's the one that he brings up a lot. The part that they took out of the Bible explains a lot of this idea that the devil is actually not an evil person. I don't remember the name. It's called something. Pretty famous part of the Bible that was removed because they didn't like what it said. They didn't agree, the people in power, with what it said. Or it didn't fit the narrative. Kind of like modern day. I definitely agree with that. Why is definitely a human invention. The universe is not beholden to us. It just is, and we try to force it to mean something. I think Lovecraft Cosmic Horror is right. Yeah. My understanding is that everything is neutral. We just give it the meaning, and then we experience what we perceive of that meaning. Back with the food, decided to heat up some leftovers. Sounds delicious, a druid. There aren't really any parts of the Bible that are banned per se. The Apocrypha was removed because it was more cost effective to just print the Bible itself. But the Catholic Church still uses it. I don't think it was that. It was called something else. If I come across it again, I'll mention it. I forget what it was called. It's a pretty known part of the Bible. Let's see if AI knows. The Apocrypha process, Gnostic. Maybe it wasn't part of the Bible, but it was related to it. I can't remember. The Old Testament refers to this. Excluded. Yeah. It'll come back to me if it matters. Ooh, I want some Chinese food. There are some gospels that fell out of favor with the church that have resurfaced since, like the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Thomas. That might be more what I was thinking. Anatoly. If you're looking for a book to read, I suggest Anatoly Francis' Revolt of the Angels. Okay, drawing demons. Let's see. I usually start with eyes, and they're unfriendly eyes. No pupils, because that always looks cooler. Teeth, crocodile teeth. I usually make shark teeth. There's a point where I stopped making fangs. I should come back to it. Since it's been so long, making fangs would actually be fun again. I usually make really exaggerated cheekbones. Really exaggerated brows. If the mouth is closed, I just have the teeth come back around at on the bottom like this. Unusually exaggerated jawline. Maybe a square chin. Maybe nose, nostrils. Usually no nose at all, but if I do have a nose, it's just two holes. And of course, you gotta have a giant horns, like oversized horns. Oversized neck, oversized traps. You can always have variations of this. Maybe a third eye. My third eye is a common one I like to go to. It's because what I grew up making. The third eye. I heard, I remember it was during a TV show, or, yeah, a TV show, where they were studying demons. And I heard them talking about the fact that a demon, the more eyes a demon has, the smarter it is. And so I remembered that. So, look at Nolgath with his 6 eyes. Not so much known for his brain, though. But there's some intelligence. He's got the eyes. He's got multiple eyes. It's proof. I remember it used to bother me. Like, see how the horns are asymmetrical? Now I'm getting back to the part where I'm like, oh, that's what brings it alive, the asymmetry. Having it be perfectly aligned is what makes it look bland. You want the asymmetry. Maybe extra horns on the eyes, or extra spikes, rather. The Gospel of Judas exists. Do Rick from Splatterhouse. Sorry about the Bible dump, been studying that stuff for about 5 years now. No, war is very interesting stuff. I occasionally deep dive into the stories of the Bible myself. I just don't remember it afterwards. I just watch video essays. But yeah, this is basically how I make all my demons. It'd be the same thing if they were if this was a scrawny, skinny demon. I'm just making him buff here, but same principles, skinny or muscular. Just variants of this. The suggestion were unnatural bone skeleton crab made from various bone parts from skeletal remains of humans, or ghost crab, damaged and cracked exoskeletons animated by fire fog. It looks like Pit Lord from Dota 2. I don't think I've seen that, but if it looks like this, I approve. Which one do I vibe with most? I can try to draw your ghost crab with human parts. We kind of already made a crab, but I'll make another crab. Day 3, asking Milton to bring. Yeah, I don't decide what goes into AQW. I'm gonna do my own interpretation. Kind of reminds me of the barnacle nightmares that I made in Akumi Wars. You just put a human skull on any kind of animal, and it's terrifying. Oh man, we're already at 2 hours. Alright, this will be the last sketch then. Not sure exactly what this thing's supposed to look like, so I'm kind of just making it up. What if it had little skeleton feet? Terrifying. It's like a D&D monster. Yeah, I don't know much about crabs. I just know that samurai armor was inspired by crab armor. Hey, thank you for the follow. Dohavelin. Yeah. Samurai armor design was inspired by crabs. Take a look at samurai armor, you can see it. You can see it's a very crab inspired. Yeah, these things would be terrifying to come across. That would make it even more terrifying if we gave it a full skull. Oof. That is looking like something else. Just gonna draw little skulls on it everywhere. Cause why not? It's like I imagine it's like that assassin beetle that just puts the carcasses of its dead victims onto its body as armor. Man, insects are just full of terrifying terrifying habits. The assassin bug adorning itself with the bodies of victims it's eaten or sucked the guts out of, because they don't eat, they just suck the guts out of their victims. Like a straw. That's low-key pretty neat factory. Probably wouldn't be huge and just average size like normal crabs, but unlike how crabs normally are, these guys would probably be terrible and aggressive, even if they're small. I have so many ideas for for the lore of these fellows. Also kind of fitting that the robot crab, which represents technology, and bone crab, which polar opposite of that. This looks delicious. You're making Fear Pack hungry for some crab, for some bone crab. Gotta head to bed. Alright, Zaire, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. I think I'm about done here too. I'm just gonna put like I'll put a value, some shading value on it, and then we'll call it a night. We'll call it a stream. This guy was pretty fun. feel like he would have a lot of particles crumbling off. So much so much brittle bones. I imagine the skull is to hide the crab's face and mouth and jaw. Lower jaws and mandible are behind the teeth. That's pretty cool. So it's like a crab wearing a skull mask. It's pretty creepy. pretty creepy. Whoa, that looks even more creepy. Just when I thought it couldn't get any creepier. We're way ahead of Halloween. The eye stalks are hidden inside the eye holes of the skull, hence they glow. Oh god, crab people are real. Making monsters is fun. I think that's what this stream is gonna be for. Getting me back into drawing demons and monsters. Something different from my waifu. Library. Different kind of fun. I'll probably color it later. Pretty easy. I think he said he'd be like a green. Ugh. The bone crab. Well, Crustacea is sort of a crab person. She's kind of hybrid, kind of in a centaur way. Yes. Yes, she is. Alright, so we got our bone crab, our robot crab, and our demon face. And our Batgirl. Not too bad, not too bad at all. Nice little idea there, Truid. We got ourselves a little creepy bone crab now. I'd have to assume she's only crab person in the Kumiverse, and a special case. Unknown, but knowing Milt, that could always change. Yeah. As far as we know, she's the only crab lady for now. Hence the crab queen or lobster queen. Ugh. No worries. Alright. We'll do one more stream tomorrow to finish off Monday through Thursdays. See. Ooh. I'm gonna get ready for bed. Take one more look. Thank you, Truid. Hope everyone has a good night as well. And until next time, peace and 2 pieces. I'm out.